Hi, good evening, everyone. This is EY once again. Today I got some time, so I actually make two consecutive video. The first one, of course, is the one that show that there are two layers of the clumper, and for the second one, I'm going to show you how to adjust the zero setting, right? For the DF64E, right? So this is what I'm going to show today, right? This is EY once again. Thanks for joining me today. Uh, this channel is all about having fun making coffee, and today we're going to take out the bottom base of the grinder, and then I'm going to show you how to actually make the adjustment so that your zero is actually where the two burr touches each other, right? So this is what you're going to do today, right? Right, so basically the base of the DF64E is very similar, or is almost identical to the DF64F. I believe Joe from Espresso Outlet has already show you guys how to actually take out the grinder, right? So basically, um, they are rubber friction grip like this, right? Which is actually enclosing the four screws here, right? So you just have to pop it open, right? There's actually a double-sided tape here, right, to actually stick on to the to cover the screw holes, right? So there are four of them, right? As what Joe says, right, you don't have to pop up the fifth one. This one has nothing underneath, right? So basically there are four screws, and as what Joe has mentioned, right, the wire now comes from the side. So in order for you to take out the base, right, you have to pull the wire out in a way, right? And once you pull the wire out, right, there's another thing here, right? This may be different from the DS64F version, right? Because this one has a electronic counter, right? So you first of all have to take out this connector, right? And once you take out the connector, you can push out the cable so that you can hang the base to the side. And then the next thing is you want to set the grinder down, resting at the side, so that it's easier for you to use your finger to spin uh, the burr freely. And at the same time, you need a tool to actually uh, loosen the grind adjustment. So let me show you how to do it. Okay, so right now I have already rested the grinder with the base dangling out in this way, and you can see that this is actually the screw, right? That actually tighten your grind adjustment. So let me move the grind adjustment ring here, right? So you can see it actually grip onto the grind adjustment here, right? So you can see the they actually mark this. So I believe this is where the zero actually touches. So you will need something like this to help you, right? So basically this is some sort of a wrench, right? So you need a, let me see what size is this. You need a 13 mm, right, in order for you to lock up the nuts over there. So basically you will gently push away the wire and then lock it up here, right? It is good to have something that you can actually adjust and loosen or tighten by the adjustment here, right? So it is a good tool to have. So right now you can see that I'm actually trying to loosen this, right? So the moment you loosen this, right, you can see that, let me loosen it further, right? You can see that now this thing is actually free to rotate, right? Observe where the marker is, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to adjust this to go align with the marker, then I'm going to lock it up. And then I'm going to do a test to see whether the burr actually touches each other. Right, you have to hold this, but be careful not to break it. Right, so I do not want to apply too much force on the grind adjustment ring. So I'm going to push all the way down and I'm going to lock it this way. Right, and by holding on to this, I'm going to try to put my hand, onto the where the burr is and try to rotate it. Now this is at the finest adjustment, so I cannot hear the two burr touching each other. So that marking is not a zero marking from the manufacturer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this again, right? And then I'm going to lock it up. And I'm going to adjust, I'm going to turn all the way to the final side, and then I'm going to use, you can see that I can feel from my finger where the burr is no longer turning, which means the two burrs are actually already touching each other. So this is not what we're going to do. So again, I'm going to loosen this, right? So I'm going to adjust it slightly in the let me see, in the counterclockwise direction, slightly, and then I'm going to lock it up again, right? And remove this, and I'm going to go to the final setting, and then again I'm going to spin it. Yes, it's still tightened, right? So this is still not the 0 point, and this is beyond the 0 point, which means the two burr is actually biting closely to each other. Loosen this again, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, holding on to the bottom disc, right, the aluminum disc there, and we're going to adjust this away, right? Okay, let me tell you what, I will lock up this one first, right? Lock. Okay, I'm going to move this until I'm going to move the grind adjustment, right now it's actually locking, so I need to lock it harder so that it will move together with the grind adjustment. Okay, so now you can see when I turn this, okay, still not tight enough. Okay, now you can see that the whole thing is moving, so I need to move this away. Again, loosen this. I want to check where the 0 point is. Okay, now when I feel my finger, right, it is already freely rotating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this so that I can find my 0 point. Ah, can you hear that the two burrs are actually rubbing each other? So this is my 0 point, right? Still touching, no longer touching, right? So this is where I want my 0 point to be. And now I have to be very careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this and turn my adjustment all to the finest and lock it up. It's pretty tight. Okay, so now it's slightly loosened. Now I'm using my finger to turn it all the way to feel the 0 point again. Okay, let's loosen this a little bit more. Okay, let's lock this again. Right, this process need to be repeated quite a few times. Okay, this is where the burr is really biting. Okay, this is where the burr is really loose. Yeah, can hear the two burr rubbing each other. Loosen slightly. Okay, so the burr is no longer touching. Loosen this right all the way, and then I'm going to turn this all the way down to the zero marking, and then I'm going to lock it up. Okay, so I have already found my 0 point, and this is how you actually do the adjustment, right? It is a little bit complicated because you have to repeat it quite a few times in order to get it right. So basically, the idea is very simple. You adjust your grind adjustment to the causal side, and then you loosen it. Right, because you can see that there's a red black color marking there. So if you move this closer to the black color marking, that's where the two burrs are getting closer and closer. So I found that the burr touching is where, you know, it is about maybe, I would say, if I go by the clock, if this is the 12 o'clock position, right, the burr touching point should be around, I would say 11, 10. I would say that it's about between 9 to 10 o'clock position, right? If the marking is at 12, right? Uh, this is not a very clear instruction, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to think through the process again. This video is just to show you how this grinder can be adjusted to find the 0 point. And yep, you'll need a little bit of tools like this in order to help you, right? So it is slightly more difficult to find the 0 point as compared to the DF64, but it is not as difficult as you've seen from the video I'm making. Because when I take the video, it tends to take a slightly longer for me to find it. Right, so this is Eva once again. I hope I'll try to give you a slightly better instructions on how to um, adjust the grind to find the 0 point of this grinder, right? But at the moment, if you look at this video, right, it's basically about loosening the nuts and adjust uh, the grind indicator with respect to the disc, right? So as long as you find that the burr is already touching each other, right, you loosen slightly and adjust the grind indicator all the way to the final setting, and you lock up, and that's basically about it, right? So it's actually not as difficult as it seems to be, but you do have to be careful about the wiring, and you need the right tools to actually do it. So you will need a tool that's like that, right? Easier for you to do clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation, right? So this is something that's good to have, right? If you have this, it's going to help you a lot if you want to do um, finding of the 0 point by yourself, right? So now let me close up the grinder, and then we'll see how it goes. Right, so to close up this grinder, first of all, let's attach the wire back, and then let's invert this grinder back. Okay, let me give you a better view. Okay, so again, pull the wire away from you and make sure that you tuck the wire at the empty space so that it doesn't depress anything. Right, and then very simple, just get your screw and then tighten it back. I will secure the two screws diagonally first, so it will give me a better okay, I think there's something that is blocking, so let me loosen this again and try to tuck all the wire properly. Yep, okay, now it's much better. Okay, so all the way there are 4 screws. Right, and of course you got to put this double-sided tape with the leg with double-sided tape. This is actually the anti-slip, Try not to get this double-sided tape with coffee powder, otherwise you will lose its stickiness. Alright, so now let's turn the grinder over and then do a test. Okay, I've done it such a way that when I go to 0, the burr shouldn't be rubbing. But of course, if you want to really find the touch point, you can adjust such a way that when it's at 0 setting, the two burrs actually rubbing. And that will give you a better feeling of where the touch point is, right? Which is what we call the 0 point, right? But I do not want my 0 marking to be touching. Hence, therefore, I know that if I adjust it slightly finer than 0, I'm going to get the two burrs touching each other, right? So I do not want my grinding in any occasion that the two burrs will be touching when the power switch on. So I always adjust it to slightly coarser, right? So basically, that's how I do it. Right, so thank you for joining me today again. This is CY once again. Thanks for watching my video. And then if you like my video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like my videos, and then share to your friends if they are fellow DF64 or DF64E user, right? So this is mainly for the DF64E version, right? I believe the adjustment on the DF64P is the same, right? Just that there are less electronic component in the P version, right? I'll be reviewing the P version very soon. It has already arrived, and I'll be actually doing a quick unboxing as well as my first impression on the DS64P, probably on Thursday or Friday. Right. So thanks for joining me. Right. Stay safe and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.